In order to have cohesiveness, I need to go and grab the saucer that matches these. So let's go grab the other saucer real quick. I brought back a total of 3 saucers, and I want to match these up, and so I think we hit the jackpot with this one right here. We just need to make sure the container that we're using, and let me scoot all of this over. Oh, my ears, honey. Let me scoot this up. Let's scoot our plants over, and we'll get into these plants in just a little bit, but let's match up these saucers here. These are the containers that we're going to be using. So we're going to use these Terra Cotta pots. Behind me you can see sets, pieces of sets. Same thing on the other side here. So this set right here is shaped a little bit different than the traditional Terra Cotta pot. That's why I like it. Here's our traditional shaped Terra Cotta pot right here. So if we put these side by side, then you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So it's a little bit more wider. This can be used as a centerpiece, a container for a centerpiece, but then it can also be used as part of a collection. It can also stand on its own as well. And it just gives us something a little bit different than the traditional Terra Cotta pot. I also have the matching smaller container here, but what I wanted to make sure was that all of my pots matched up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure everything matches up. Bam, perfect fit, you guys, perfect fit. I have some beautiful Myrtle Topiaries here. I'm going to pot these up. But we're not going to just go in and pot these up and put rocks on the top of them. That's beautiful. We're not even going to put moss on the top of them. Baby, we about to do an arrangement, honey. I said we working on a collection. And if you guys are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love a good collection. And this one is going to be absolutely 100% amazing. Let's jump right in. I'll go ahead. I'll put these back because we don't need these. All right, we'll put the watering can down on the floor so we can have a lot of space to work here. We'll put our saucers over here to the side. So we'll start off with our bigger pot right here so you guys can get the skinny of how everything's going to be going down here. So all of my containers that I do, I like to come in. Sometimes I will add a coffee filter in the bottom, but we're going to be adding a little bit of screen here to cover up our drain hole. And what this does is it makes sure the soil doesn't flush out the bottom. Add a little bit of moss like right in the front here and just feed it in to the containers. Now I do have moss inside of the other containers that I've planted up, and that's just going to give us a little bit more of a finished look. Seeing a little bit of super moss, and this is just some sheet moss, preserved sheet moss, and I'm just going in, I'm just adding this in around the base of it. Now, let me tell you something. When you start to get into these floral arrangements and you have your good girlfriends and your good guy friends and they come over, somebody is going to try to stick their nose in there and try to plant check you, as I like to call it. They're going to try to check to see if it's real, because you always going to have that nosy neighbor, that nosy friend, and that nosy serviceman. Because I'm telling you guys, if you all could see the way that this arrangement is looking in real life, you would be absolutely just like, this is not real. This is not real. Yes, baby, it's real. It's real. It's real, okay? So now we'll add a little bit of moss to this one right here. And I like this moss because it just comes out in a sheet and you can break it up and use it the way you want it to be. I like to use like the bigger chunks here and I just feed it on in there. It's gonna act as a mulch to help keep our myrtle happy. And you just go in and just kind of just tuck it in wherever you see dirt at. Especially now since we're moving more into that fall weather. If you're going to have this sitting outside, it acts as a little bit of a blanket for your plants. And it just keeps everything happy. A little bit more on the side. Okay, so now let me show you how we're going to have this sitting on the table, because this is going inside. And one thing about the sheet moss, I like to reuse it. I'm going to save as much money as I can. And I take this arrangement down, my sheet moss I save. I don't put it back in with the new moss, but I put it back in a little baggie. And that way I can continue to reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. Because gardening can be expensive if you make it. These bags of moss can run about maybe $6 to $7, sometimes more than that. I'm not sure what they're priced at right now with inflation and everything, but I save money where I can. So let me show you how we're going to have this sitting on our table, okay? We're going to take our Terra Cotta risers here, okay? And this one has a little bit of dirt on it, no big deal, because before it's put in its place, the Terra Cotta riser will be cleaned off. Now, depending on the arrangement and the size of the pot, sometimes I'll use 3, sometimes I will use 4, but for this one, we're only going to need 3. So we're going to come in, we're going to take our saucer here, and I'm going to be watering this from the saucer here. So this is how we have this right here. Now you can come in and put this on the other side. It's really not going to make a difference, but you can put it on there. But for this look, I only want 3, okay? Okay, so we have our saucer here, and so now we're going to come in, we're going to set this right here, right? Okay, so now we set that there. Then off to the side, we're going to set this smaller one, and we have our rose here, which needs to get into the sun. So let me clip off some of these roses that did not fully open. Okay, so we have our rose here. Now, right here, kind of off to the side, we're going to have our second myrtle right here off to the side, right? So we have that juxtaposition with the height. Then we can move this right here. But just when you thought I was finished, I come in for the score. And then we have our variegated plant right here, which also has moss in it. A bit about the plants that I used here. So we have our myrtle. Now this myrtle was just in bloom not too long ago, but with my schedule and everything, by the time we got a chance to actually sit down and shoot the content, the flowers had already turned. I'll bring the myrtle out the next time it comes in bloom. I'll make sure to show you, but the flower's really insignificant because most people that grow myrtle grows it for the topiary form, the compact habit, not necessarily for the flowers. But it is a bonus. So we use some roses here, some variegated foliage, depending on where you're from. Then we dressed it with a little bit of moss. Now, all of my plants here were pre-soaked. The myrtles, variegated foliage, the roses, I pre-soaked all of them. The roses were not necessarily happy with the pre-soak, but the reason why I pre-soaked these is because I will be watering from the bottom with the saucer, but the myrtles like to stay more on the not soppy wet, but your myrtles are not going to want to dry out. So in this arrangement, the most important plant is going to be my myrtle here. So what I like to do is I like to make sure I keep the myrtle intact. That way the myrtle is happy, because this is the investment here. The roses, I bring roses in and out of bloom all throughout the year. I'll say that again. My roses, I bring them in and out of blooms all throughout the year. Put them into dormancy, take them out of dormancy, put them back in the bloom. One of the easiest things that you can do, that way I have color all throughout the year. When you're out and about and you see myrtles, when you're out and about and you see lemon cypress, boxwoods, any type of topiary, next time, don't think twice. Just grab it. Just grab it, because you guys, you can always incorporate your myrtles, your topiaries into different types of arrangements, and it's a great way to bring green back on the inside during these fall days. Everything's getting ready to start turning that brown color. And while I love a good winter scenery, while I love a good fall setting, all of it is beautiful. But you guys, this is how you bring your color back on the inside. And even in the summertime, you guys, how beautiful is this, having it sitting on an entry foyer or just in a bathroom or wherever you want to put it on the kitchen counter. It's absolutely gorgeous. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. And thank you for all of you guys that have been sharing my content. You guys, it is really getting the message out there to people. I have been getting a lot of inboxes. Hey, I was referred to you from this person. I was referred to you from that person. Thank you, and thank you again. I really appreciate you guys. Drop down in the comment box. Let me know what you think about this arrangement.